right, welcome to Raising Funds for World Domination, Day 80. So here's the standard intro. Next hearing date is October 6th. Today I actually filmed a video, and that's basically it for today's update. So the next thing to do is to continue where we left off with on the block mining simulation game. So yesterday during stream, I worked on trying to merge in one of the functions to kind of start to deduplicate code. I had a merging function that was pretty similar in two places, and I almost got that finished. And then actually just after the stream, I think I was able to complete that and get it merged in, collapse those two functions. So today I'm going to continue with basically that. JB says first, congratulations. G Money says hi. Stream is excellent today. It's only just started. Oh, rip, RIP. I don't know. JB is first. G Money says hi. Or the number one by your name. I think that's YouTube assigns that to people based on like engagement or something. But it looks like there's already been 3 different people who are number one. I think it's based on how much you engage. Oh, the stream bitrate thing. Oh yeah. I just don't pay attention to that. It's nonsense. All right, the game still works. That's good. So one thing I'll probably do, so this is basically, this function looks crazy because it's handling basically 2 different use cases. We'll probably try and refactor it. Like this I shouldn't really have 2 branches here. I think probably this constrained region thing, that can be figured out before it calls the function. And this like ternary operator, I would like to smooth that out. It's also doing more work than it needs to. So for example, setting the changed flag is not necessary. With Rayan says, "Hello there, Robert. How's it going?" I'm here trying to install Gen 2 on bare metal. Nice. Liu Hiroyama says, "Good morning. I had a dream about being back in school. Did you have an assignment that was due? So you changed the thumbnail of the stream." I did not change the thumbnail of the stream. What was it today? I think I think like before it's launched, it'll have a it uses my like channel banner. There's no frame to select, and then like once it's started, then it'll it just selects like a random frame. What is the best way to work with concurrency in Java? That's a good question. I honestly don't have that much experience working with concurrency in Java, although this is a multi-threaded application. For the most part, I've tried to, if you want my advice, I would say try and design your application so that there's like a few choke points past which you have to through which your concurrency like works, and it's really solid, and it has a very good like theoretical approach. Like in this thing, I have a bunch of different threads, and each of the threads sends messages when a thread wants to have another thread do something. It'll send a message to that thread, and I have two types of messages, like basically asynchronous and synchronous. And so every the kind of core of the application is the work item processor task. So basically everything that's doing anything in this application is just a pool of these work item processor tasks. So this task, everything inherits from this. We'll call it the user interface threads and console writer thread and input reading. So you start, you run it, and then it accepts work items. And it actually is, this condition's a bit crazy here. But so far this works pretty well. So I just within a loop I say, like, if we're not finished and if we're not interrupted and there's actually work items to take work items, take a work item and then do the work item. And so this is what every individual thread does. And then every thread can send messages to other threads. With the sending of messages, I have some like concurrency safe data structures, and so that way they don't need to I don't need to wrap like within every thread everything it knows, it does not directly access the variables of other threads. It does that only through the messaging. And that way I can kind of cut down on the amount of things I have to think about related to concurrency. If you were to build a new OS, what animal would you assign it? A walrus? I don't know. I probably wouldn't build a new OS. That's a lot of work. And the funnest part is easy. Like making you can write your own microkernel in a weekend, but what makes it truly like a good OS is support for like 10 billion different types of hardware and printers and like USB standards, and it's just there's a lot of tedious work that's not very fun. It's better to always use OS level threads or thread pools. I think so. I'm using, because I forget what I'm using. So I have a block thread pool collection. I think I have like so this is where this is one of the most base data structures. Yeah, I guess I have my own. This is like my own kind of thread pool. I was using some like built-in thread pools and stuff, but I would say you just have to make sure you choose the right kind of like collection object to keep track of your threads, because there's a lot of different things you could want. Like if you look up threading in Java, yeah, I'm drawing a blank on the names of. There's like 10 different names for like a certain thread pool. One is like it tries to minimize like the memory footprint, and some of them are based on like the assumption is like some threads can crash, so it always tries to make sure that you have at least one instance of a certain thread type. So even if it exits gracefully, it just restarts it or something, or if it crashes. But you might want a thread pool object that allows a thread to be removed. So like, do you want to add remove threads at runtime? That's another consideration. So you got to just look all that up. So I guess in mine, I kind of just wrote my own. I started it with like a Java built-in one, but I stopped using it. Didn't know YT worked like that. Yeah, it can be kind of inconsistent sometimes. The 80 is a good number. It's a semi-perfect number. Excellent. Omni says, good morning. How's it going? So you're using the old school way? Yeah, my kind of manual way, I had specific needs for it. And I think I recall, it was a while ago that I wrote this code, but I recall looking to see if there was a data structure in Java that would just do this for me. But then in the end, I decided it makes sense to just manage it myself. Because I wanted to, a really important feature of this game, I guess you can see it on stream, is when the program crashes, it immediately prints out a stack trace with exactly where the problem is. And to make that work in a multi-threaded application was required a bit of work, and to get it to like be able to gracefully exit threads at runtime and stuff. And there was lots of complexity to think about. Feel like a collab with you and Jeff from Fireship would be great. Maybe. I don't know if I don't really even think about collabs at this point. Too much work to do. Execute service. Yeah, that kind of stuff. If you Google all that, and there's different, if you read the documentation page, it'll say like, if you wanted to do this other thing, use this other thread pooling service. I'm reading the book, Java Concurrency ebook. Thank you for the advice. Yeah, I think if you're when you're learning concurrency, I think it's a good idea to like learn the theory of the basics. So like I don't know if I've had this conversation with you or not before, but if learning the test and set and compare and swap, those are the two like fundamental things. If you have those, if your CPU can support one of those instructions, you can create a data structure that implements the other. But also that's kind of the basis for all like concurrency resolution mechanisms. And if you don't have those, then you're just going to raise conditions. So I guess like mutexes, semaphores, those kinds of things. Just like learning what those are, that's a good idea. Now those are like, it's good to know about those and how to implement them, but I would say the good advice is like you should never try like try and implement these things from scratch, but you should know how they're implemented, because if you try to use like an existing, I'm sure there is some kind of like binary semaphore or a counting semaphore object. Like if you don't know what a semaphore is, you don't know if you want a binary semaphore or a counting semaphore. So knowing what those are is a good idea. And then, yeah, I would say try to structure your application so that you can minimize the concurrency choke points. Because when you have concurrency bugs, you can waste a ton of time trying to fix those. Are you familiar with Fireship channel? I have seen some of the videos that that person puts out. Have you read the book Crafting Interpreters? I have not. Cool book. You basically make mini Java from scratch. I had a choice to do a compilers course in university, and it was that was the course itself. Was you basically make Java, make a Java compiler. I did the operating systems course, which is more than enough work. So I think this function could be optimized by not having to go through the entire screen buffer. You could just go through a region. I would basically replace this. How much would you be willing to take to do sudo rmrf/? On this computer, I don't really have that much unsaved work, so it wouldn't, honestly, it would be the amount of work I've done so far during the stream. But then again, it would just waste a bunch of time formatting the machine. There's other videos of people recorded themselves doing that. It's not very interesting. See, why doesn't it like that? Here we go again. Greetings from Germany. How's it going? Did you build your computer yourself? It depends which one. I have like an old desktop server. I put that together. This is just a laptop here. It's my it's the only laptop that's quiet. It's a very old laptop. And then my other laptop with a super loud fan is over there. I haven't put together a computer in quite a few years now. ThinkPad, my main laptop that I use for work is a ThinkPad, but I don't use it when I'm streaming because the fan is just unbelievably loud. It's always at the absolute maximum RPM, and it even wore out, and I had to buy a new fan, and that was a whole fiasco. Thought you were completely doing YouTube now. Yes, that is, as of late, that is my main focus. How long did it take you to learn to code? I don't know. I started when I was 14. I don't know. It's quite a question. It's questionable when was the point when I learned how to code. I kind of just picked it up in bits and pieces over years and years. Let's hook up that 4K memory block. Oh, the piece of magnetic core memory I have. Be a lot of work to get that running. Starting with Racket made me question life. I actually don't know Racket at all. Gotcha, thank you. Yeah, I guess I didn't give a really great answer to that question. Because I kind of started around 14 and I didn't know what I was doing. And then I was probably back, then I got into Visual Basic. And then I started writing like larger real programs. And then I was like, yeah, this is not, the code I was writing was not memory efficient. So I was like, you know what, I got to learn C++ and manage memory. And then I was like, you know what, maybe I'll just get a degree in software engineering. And then I did. Seriously, I was going to pivot to another career from that nightmare till I found Python and C. Yeah, I think the main thing is just getting started on a language that you can actually tolerate, and then once you know how to program, it's a lot easier to tolerate another language that you don't really know. Basic on C64. Everything changed and I lost it. 10 print. Time is running. That's a while ago, C64. So my new code has some bugs. Oh, that's not right. Stacks OFAX. Python doesn't shred my brain to pieces. Started with C++. Turned me so far off. I'm still an amateur. Yeah, it's interesting. Some people, I think for some people, it's a bit more. Some people like starting off with C more, or like assembly or really low language stuff, so they can. I think it gives them a better. You're not less likely to write useful programs, but it also kind of connects you to the magic of the CPU itself. Whereas if you want to like be productive and get stuff done, then C probably or Python probably gives you that feeling a lot faster. Although if you write more than a few thousand lines of Python in a project, then you'll start to appreciate like good software design principles. How many internships did you do at Waterloo? Was it still 6? Yes, I did 6 internships. A different company every time, except for the last one I went back to. I did a second internship at Amazon. I'm sorry I had to go through that. Amazon. It was an experience. It was good for an internship. Was that an Amazon site that shut down because they tried to go union? I don't know. I worked in Seattle. The building I worked in was called Blackfoot. I've been a carpenter for 20 years. But I've always found coding fascinating. Honestly, looking at this is making me feel like I'm peeping into Pandora's box or something. Yeah, actually, it seems like that's a common sentiment. That's a common reason for people to watch the stream. It's a convenient way to just peer into another world. I worked on an Amazon Web Services product. All right. Do you FW crypto bro? No, I don't do don't have any crypto. I played around with it back in the day, back in 2013 or so, but all my coins got stolen. And it's just too the more time that goes on, there's less reason for me to engage in anything cryptocurrency. It's all just scams and things getting hacked. How to make a CPU part 2. I like to. I have a good idea for one. It would take a bit of time to make it though. And I have I'm just trying to there's a backlog of like video ideas that are simple to create. And I'm just going to try to focus on them because I don't put enough stuff. How to make a GPU? I don't know if I'd have enough content for that. Your planning is find sponsors for your videos. I probably won't. Pretty much all the sponsors that pay well are all like just scams and stuff. And there's also a huge class of people who get their channels hacked and hijacked because they think they're engaging with a sponsor who is really, really good at pretending to be a sponsor for a while. And then they're like, open this document. It's actually malware. On the note, any space where profit is involved will inevitably be flooded with slop scammers. That's true, although crypto seems to be uniquely susceptible to that. Also, GPU and CPU fabrication is very similar. Yeah, if I did actually another how to make a CPU part 2, it would be a bit more detailed about the lithography process. But not enough hours in a day. I have so many other video ideas and things to say. So I think I'll try to simplify the region that's getting passed into this. Actually, do you know that the Dutch have a monopoly on industrial UVB lithography process that all our technology relies on? Yeah, I have, I forget the name of the company. HML or something, or but yeah, it's pretty advanced. They have to like vaporize a piece of tin and then use like a very specific wavelength of light for the lithography process. Makes sense because it has getting smaller and smaller architectures requires very like precise optics and chemistry and exposure times. Man, that lag is getting bad. The Dutch are crazy. They're so far ahead in many different ways. Yeah, the I guess I want to call it is the Dutch. That's a Scandinavian country, like all the Finland and Norway and all those countries up in that region are very like they have lots of expertise in just like high technology and material science, like optical stuff. And I bought actually I have a video on a calibration photo mask that I bought that's on my channel, and that came from Norway, I think. Sometimes I wish I chose electrical engineering as my degree. Yeah, I don't know, but the grass is always greener. I mean, if you have a degree, I guess it depends on where you are in your career, but if you have a degree, then you're already in a good position to, like, you know, learn, like if you're a software engineer and you want to pivot into electrical, then it's already much easier to do that than if you have no degree. Let's see, can this be simplified like that? So do we want to build a utopian civilization, or do we want to build a utopian civilization? Also, what's that Linux distro? I was trying to guess based on UI. This is just a regular Ubuntu. When I want to get work done, I just use like the basic default Ubuntu. All right, so the changes come from I guess in this case, that's 0. I used Ventoy recently to multi-boot a bunch of Linux OS in parallel. Interesting. Never heard of that. Or maybe someone has recommended it in chat and I forgot about it. That might work. Let's see. USB tool, you can put on Windows recovery, Linux recovery, etc. Oh, look at that, that's broken. Nice. That's why I test often. So that change is a no-go. So you just summon a demon for 2 seconds? Yeah, that's what it looks like. Good plug and play, no need to constantly flash the drive. Yeah, I guess I don't really use that functionality enough to really benefit from it. Maybe this is what I want. Nope. Will that work? All crazy again. Needs to be extorted. It's not my expertise. I'm a programmer. I wonder if it's an issue. I think there's an issue with the change regions. From the thread local updates. So this thing is using these screen regions in terms of coordinates that are these coordinates are local to the frame. they should be local to this like temporary layer thing. Working on background layer. I'm working on, so in each of the threads, so I actually only have like two different, or really three different primitive functions where I'm writing to the screen. One is just for printing text, and the other is when I'm sending the cell updates for the map area. And then there's also another one of these in the help menu. And basically I'm within the thread. A thread creates like one of these little like kind of local changes, like updating a piece of text or something. Then that gets merged onto the pending changes that are going to be sent to the main to the console writer thread, which is in charge of printing all information from all frames. So there's really like three different layer steps. There's just there's a layer created for the one line of text that gets merged onto the layer that represents the entire frame, and then that frame gets merged down onto the within a separate thread in the console writer thread that gets merged into the global buffer, and then that'll get written to the screen. And I guess it's a design flaw where the coordinates for these screen regions, those should have been relative to the currently changed region, or the whatever region I'm trying to write onto the frame, but they were the coordinate, but previously they were in the coordinate space of the frame, not just the little where is it? The random changes update. So that causes issues in when I was trying to deduplicate the code, because I had two different ways of merging it. I think I have one of these in the help menu. Right, that's that. I'm drinking a cream soda, but I put half and half in it because they're dangerous. Uh-oh. Things are about to get dangerous in here. They will be pretty dangerous once I try to compile this. It might crash. I think that's close enough. Why did I cast those? Anyone ever tried out AI? Don't mean like GPT and cloud. So people have asked me a lot about that. So I've tried. I've been starting to read up on it. It's like high on my to-do list to actually try it out, but I've yet to actually use it for any code on this project. I want to read over the terms of service good and stuff. I mean, locally running them off the grid. I have not. I don't even think I have the hardware to run those. That's wrong. That might be because of this. Oh, that's beyond my capabilities. I wish they would like come to some conclusion on that. It's like, think about how much human consciousness has been wasted by just like replaying the same lack of information and action over and over again. Like, I'm tired of hearing about it. Why are those indices so crazy? This is me when trying to figure out how to add aiming mechanics to my Roblox kind of game, kind of engine. Yeah, I've got some crazy. I think actually in my code it allows for the way it deals with updates to blocks that are not even on screen. It just like allows them to go through. And then it expects another like comparison to basically say like it's outside the array and then discard it. So maybe that's what's going on. Don't know how to do low-level code. This is not particularly low-level. Still don't know much except for Python and Lua. Well, it's a start. If you can start programming that, you can eventually move on to anything. You know what I can do now that I went through all that work to refactor my Kubelet address thing? Now I can completely simplify that. I could just use my intersection code. So we just compute the intersection between the frame and the region, and and then that becomes the new change region. Maybe I'll try to be, this already doesn't work. Pythonic partial tongue. I guess I haven't read the Harry Potter series. Parcel tongue is the language of the snakes in the novels. Okay. I know Lua from configuration, from configuring NeoVim. Lua can be everything. I love it due to the fact that it's a relatively simple language. I never used Lua at all. I know it's common for games, for like building user interfaces in games and stuff. Interesting. Robert, do you use Kali Linux? I have used it for. I had to use a tool that was already came pre-installed on it, but it's not something I use on a regular basis. Let's see if I can reproduce that bug. Interesting. No, did that exist in the last version? Termux on mobile? I don't really ever do anything on mobile. So I would have thought that would be the same. Watching our streams gives another level of satisfaction. That's good. Hopefully everyone feels the same way. Then the views will go, concurrent viewers will become thousands. I think I've got a bunch of issues with my coordinate systems. I'm using like 2 different kinds of coordinate systems for transferring these changes around. Robert, are you experiencing growth through live streams? Are you gaining memberships through this? Last I checked, you were thinking about quitting at 60 days. Also, what's the eviction status? So to answer your first question about live streams, I don't know, the benefit has been kind of lukewarm. I think especially early on, I did get like a decent number of super chats and stuff, and trickle of memberships and stuff. It's kind of I think from streaming every day, it gets like, obviously it gets boring. There's like, so every day people wake up and there's like 3 hours of just someone coding, so it's not particularly interesting. I find some of the benefit from it is in just chatting with people, I get an idea of what videos I should probably be making more. And technically, if I wanted to go back and kind of mine all that stuff, I probably could make some clips out of this stuff. Now, I also think I think the actual, like the long form and the streams kind of can feed on each other. So, for example, when I release a new video, people come into the chat and talk about the video. So there's a feedback loop there. So I think at least some component of live streaming is necessary and relevant for the whole, content generation ecosystem. I don't know if it necessarily makes the most amount of sense to do it every day like I'm doing it now. I probably will continue. I've gone this long. I'll try to go to like day 100. I would say up until now, I've been able to do every day. So I'll just, I'll keep this pattern going until I can't, or there's I do kind of want to grind away at this and make a bit of progress every day. So I'll continue the series for now. The benefit seems to be trickling down. It's also the summer too. So in the summer, people are out doing stuff. YouTube also seems to direct most of your traffic to like what you're producing more of. So the fact that historically I never really got any subscribers from live streams, but now I think maybe it's YouTube. It's like messing up my algorithm. But I don't know. Anyway, the second question for the eviction status, the last hearing was May 26th. We heard a witness, but ran out of time. So just I think a couple more witnesses to hear from, and so the hearing ended, and the next hearing. It took about a month to schedule the next hearing. So the next hearing will be October 6th, and so we will hear the next from the other witness and submit some more arguments on October 6th. And then I actually kind of have a feeling that we will likely win this hearing because he already lost at some other buildings. But it's still a whole pain in the butt because I gotta like prepare this thing and waste a day at a hearing. And By the way, I always saw streaming was that I would be doing what I'm doing anyway, which is working. Potentially get paid for my passions. Yeah, it's also, I think some of the way, I've noticed some of the interaction is people like the live streams as a check-in. So lots of people, they'll maybe start off by, they'll watch like a couple of them live, and then they kind of, they'll check in, like they'll be like, hey, I was here on day 10 and now it's day 60. So what have you done in the last little while? And so there's people who check in every once in a while. Will you take sponsorships? Probably not. Honestly, I don't even get, like, I don't get sponsorship offer. Like, I scratch that. I get a ton of emails of like really, really low quality spam emails about sponsorships and stuff. I think I'll probably just try to like promote my own stuff. The sponsorships that pay well are usually really scammy. Theoretically, these two regions should be the same. Do you play any games? Nope. Don't have time to play any video games. game is World Domination. No, that's a separate project. This is the terminal block mining simulation game. Got lots of projects on the go at once. Even before Supreme Leader, that's good. You gotta get in early before the rules change. Axel Heiberg, yeah. Oh, you know what that is? That technically is the same. Robert Jung-un. I need to start eating more fancy cheeses and stuff. How many bears would it take to convert a country? How many years would it take to convert a country? What do you mean by convert a country? Yandere Robberin. That's one fine looking terminal game. Why doesn't mine look like that? It's a work in progress. I forgot what my output even means. Okay, that's country means would have its own flag. Oh, into a country. How many years would it take to convert into a country? Country means with a flag. You could go bit by bit. You could start off. You could just use the U.S. dollars to start off with, or you could just use Canadian dollars or whatever's easiest. And then once that doesn't work anymore, you can just switch to gold bars or something. Creating a country is complex. Need new government, economy, political ideology. I think the most important thing is just productivity. Current hold time, 26 minutes. We'll use AI. So every time you call for tech support, you'll get AI. It'll be fast. AI would handle a lot. Yeah, a lot of stuff you can just outsource to ChatGPT. just not enough judges available. Just get ChatGPT to do it. You'll have a team of lawyers soon. Excellent. Well, I think I see what my issue is. It's because it's again because of that offset relative absolute coordinate things. Well, I'll pick this up tomorrow. All right, I think for tonight, I'll leave this here. And we'll be back tomorrow for day 81. All right, have a good night, guys.